Welcome, everybody, to week 5 here in the league. This is your commish speaking. Let me get this damn camera right. All right. It's a little wet outside here. Sorry about the hair, but whatever. Let's get right into it. Checking out the standings. Only one undefeated team left in the LA Finesse, taking it to everybody they faced. They've scored, I think, the second or third most points on the season. Undefeated so far. They've taken over the top spot in the league, while as in the same division in the West, the Washington Wise Guys are 0-4, which is super surprising. Normally, you wouldn't see TiVo down this far, and normally you wouldn't see E-Man's team up this high, especially this early in the season. Got a big shakeup here in the West. The Titans Elite are 3-1. Joe just keeps pulling out the wins, man. In the Central here, again, everybody's 2-2, and the Quailmen are only a game behind everybody else. Again, Central is going to be nuts. Honestly, the Central may come down to the very last game of the regular season to see who can get in, because with the way that the other divisions are playing and everything, and records-wise, and just how good the other teams are, I think only it's going to be basically the winner of the Central, and that's it. That gets into the playoffs. So I think if you're in the Central, you got to win it to get in it this season. But we'll see what happens. Over in the East, you got the Hickory Grove Heater. Took a loss last week, first loss of the season. Everyone else is just kind of sitting there, chilling. The Dumpster Fire taking a 3-game skid. You know, they lost CMC for a while, so we'll see if they can get back up on their feet this week. But let's get into that. Coming into the power rankings. Let me take a little swig here. Woo! Coming in at number 12, still at number 12, you got the Washington Wise Guys. I mean, they're 0-4. 0-4, bad luck. I mean, they lost to Joe by 2. They just lost to the Smeagol's by 4 last week. I mean, this team is hurting. Let me check their point differential on the season. I don't think it's that bad, to be completely honest with you. Let me see here. They've only been outscored by 28 points in 4 games. That's an average of 7 points a game. In fantasy, that's nuts, right? Even in the real NFL, if your point differential was minus 28 through 4 games, that's not that bad. It's just, basically, I guess you would say, Mr. Unlucky this year. But he'll look to get his first win of the season this week. And we'll get into more, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Coming in at number 11, dropping a few spots, we got the French Quarter Quailmen, the only team in the Central that does not have a 500 or better record. They've just looked very uncomposed. You know, they got a new team name. They got a lot of rookies on their team. They're just trying to get there. I guess you say their feet wet down there in New Orleans, but they need to get something under them if they want to keep their head above water. Coming in at number 10, moving on down the line. Had this guy up top 4, top 3, I think, to begin the season. Now he's at number 10. We got the Columbia Dumpster Fire. Again, CMC makes this team go. Without CMC, this team will hurt. And right now, it's looking tough for them. They're last in the East. They've scored actually basically the same amount of points as the Smeagol's, but they've allowed 10 more points than the Smeagol's, and they've lost a game. So the Dumpster Fire and the Smeagol's are actually very even in terms of team and points scored. It's just that the Smeagol's have another win, and the Smeagol's don't have their best player on IR or out for a few weeks or whatever. Coming in at number 9, dropping another few spots, we got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks. Took a rough loss last week. Lost 99.96 to 96.72. 3 points to Joe. Of course, right? If anyone's going to win a game by less than 5, it's going to be Joe most of the time. And Rico this week couldn't even get 100. You get 100 points, you win. But he couldn't do it. So now his team's 2-2, dropping 1 to Joe. Joe's got wins. I want to check Joe's friggin' team here, because this is just insane. Let me see. Joe. you know what? We'll get to Joe when we get to Joe. How about that? Coming in at number 8, we got the Wisconsin Bunny Bangers. Had them up in the top 6 last week, but then they couldn't even put up over 75 this week as they got destroyed by the Roon Dogs, doubled their score basically. This team has been, just like Nate said in his prediction video, either really, really hot or really, really cold. And let me get this better. There we go. And this team, again, you kind of roll the dice. Are they going to score 150 or are they going to put up less than 80? You kind of don't really know with this team, so I got them down in 8th right now. Yeah, coming in at number 7, rounding out the bottom 6, you got the Trentham Trolls. Finally picking up a win last week. Got a big matchup this week against one of the best teams in the league. If they can take that upset, they'll be shooting up the boards here, but another one of those Central teams that can, we don't know what they are yet. Stay hot, stay cold, something. Nobody in the Central has been able to put up consecutive good games. No one. So the Central is going to be very interesting this year. Coming in at number 6, rounding out the top 6, I guess, or not rounding down, I guess, top 6, you have the Vietnam Voyagers. Coming in at number 6, they did get a win last week as they took down the recently or no longer undefeated Hickory Grove Heaters, and they beat the crap out of them. But with this team, it's looking a little rough. Dalvin Cook's banged up. Calvin Ridley's not even flying out to London, which, by the way, guys, London game, I think it's like 9 a.m., maybe 9:30 a.m. Kickoff. I guess tomorrow or this morning or whatever you read this. So check your lineups. It's Jets and Falcons. So make sure that you got your guys in. And again, a little tip for you guys. The later the player is playing, like a position player, put him in your flex. Okay? So if you have, say, I've got Chase Edmonds and DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm like, well, Chase Edmonds, I don't know if he's going to play, but he's got a 3 o'clock time slot. Put him in your flex. Okay? Because if you put him in your top 2, it'll give you more time. As in, if you put him in your flex and he can't go, you can sub him in for a receiver or another running back or even a tight end if you're super desperate. Okay? So that's just a little tip there, guys. I'm seeing a lot of fucking dumb mistakes, like Dan last week not playing a guy and all kinds of other things. So check your lineup, make sure it's good. Coming in at number 5, staying at number 5, humble. We got the SC Titans Elite. And I said we were going to get to Joe when we got there. Week 1, he lost to E-Man by about 28 points. Got his ass whooped. Week 2, he beats Tebow by less than 1 point. Less than a point. Week 3, he beats the Voyagers by 11 points. So we're at, and then week 4, he beats Rico by 3. So he's got 2 wins of fewer than 4 points. How does he do it? Joe, how do you do it? Teach us your secret. What are you doing out there in Santa Clara, man? But yeah, Joe's team, man, maybe it's good coaching. We don't know what it is. Maybe it's Tampa Bay just squeaking out the wins. But they've got, they got some decent talent out there, and they just keep winning. They just keep winning. Coming in at number 4, dropping down a spot, we got the Philadelphia Smeagol's. They did get the win last week over the Wise Guys, but it was only by 4 points. Sorry, Tebow, just close losses. But Smeagol's looking pretty good, but their team looks a little bit dinged up. Looks like most of them can go. It's just that they're questionable, but probably will play. So this team, again, is probably one of the hardest to place, and I have no idea what the Smeagol's are going to do on the season. They could go to the playoffs and win it all, or they could just completely just fall out and completely just collapse towards the end of the season or even this week. Who knows? So this team is kind of on the edge, I guess you would say. But they're still in the top 5, top 4 even, obviously. So, yeah, keep it rolling, P-Man. Coming in at number 3, dropping down from the top spot, we got the Hickory Grove Heaters. They only put up 111 points last week as they got beat by the Voyagers, who were a sub-500 team. And dropping them out of the top spot, couldn't keep that winning streak going. And it's starting to look even worse for this team as now they've got Kelsey on IR, I think. He's already been ruled out this week. and it's not looking good. He's going to have to play Dawson Knox, who's not terrible, but Kittle is the bread and butter of this squad. And if he can't go, this team may suffer. But we'll see what Matt can do up there in Hickory Grove. Coming in at number 2, we got the Long Island Moondogs, reigning champs. This team is kind of like a better version of the Bunny Bangers, where they're either hot or they're cold. But when they're cold, they're not as terrible as the Bunny Bangers. But when they're hot, they fucking dominate. And I mean, Derrick Henry, I don't know when he's going to slow down. It's going to be this year, I think. It just depends on when. Or Lamar Jackson out here, he's got no receivers. He's got no running back, so it's literally just him running the ball. So it's just Lamar out here doing everything for him. But this team looks solid, looking good. Coming in at number 1, you guys know who it is. You got the L.A. Finesse. 4-0. On the season, change the name, move cities, just down the block, not too far, but 4-0 in the West, starting it out. Gotta feel good for E-Man and his squad. He's got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks this week. It's not looking like an easy win, but should be a pretty good win. I think next week I was looking forward to the big matchup between the Heaters and the Finesse next week, I think. They could have gone in there both undefeated, but Matt took the loss, so we won't get to see that, but it'll still be a powerhouse matchup next week, assuming Matt gets the win this week, but we'll see. Speaking of matchups, let's get into them. Matchup number 1. You got the French Quarter Quailmen at 1-3, flying over to Santa Clara to play the 3-1 Titans Elite. Joe coming off of 3 straight close wins. I think, a total of 14 points and 3 wins. And I think the Quailmen have they lost 3 straight? No, the Quailmen have lost 2 straight. Quailmen have already put up 9 points with, he got 4 out of his kicker and 5 from Jamal Adams. And it's looking like he's going to start Matt Ryan instead of Justin Herbert, which is a very, very interesting play there. Yeah, Matt Ryan, he's playing the Jets, but, I mean, it's in London. It's tough. Matt Ryan, he doesn't have Ridley this week, so maybe he's banking on that Ryan Pitts stack to take down Joe. But I think this is going to be a close matchup. It always is with Joe, but we'll see what happens. Matchup number 2. We got the Hickory Grove Heaters, 3-1, flying all the way out to Washington to take on the winless Washington Wise Guys, and it's tough. It's tough out here. If the Wise Guys take another loss, I think you can cash the season now. I mean, 0-4, you can still do it, Tebow, but 0-5, that's a deep, deep, deep hole to get out of. But Kittle is Dunskies. And, I mean, again, I don't care if you guys get mad at me by calling players out, but as of now, Kittle is on IR right now and Matt's starting. So right now, it's looking like it should be a good win for the Wise Guys. He already got 24 out of Metcalf and 8 out of Collins, who was his backup running back, and he's in his running back 2 spot. Matt got 12 out of Kupp and 9 out of Lockett, so not terrible out of his receivers, but 24 out of Metcalf beat out both of those guys with 1 play, and he's still got Scary Terry to go. So the Wise Guys looking solid here. They should get their first win, but Tebow's been unlucky. We'll see what happens. Matchup number 3. We got the Vietnam Voyagers flying all the way across the Pacific, all the way across the United States to play the Philadelphia Smeagol. Both teams coming in at 2-2. Both teams coming off of a win. And this is a really good matchup. This is a rematch from the championship game a couple years ago. Right now, Matt Stafford put up 16.5 for the Voyagers already on Thursday night, whereas Philadelphia's kicker, Matt Gay, got 8.8, which was pretty good out of your kicker. That's what you want. You want at least 8 or 7, I would say, out of a kicker, and you're relatively happy. Double digits, and you're stoked, right? So this is still going to be a close matchup. You got guys playing all over the week, so this is going to be a game that's playing on into Monday Night Football, and I think it's just going to be kind of back and forth all day. Dalvin Cook looks like he's going to play, but he may be on a pitch count, but it's against Detroit. Detroit's got the worst run defense in the league. So as a Voyager fan, I'm hoping that Dalvin Cook can come in and just burst one out for a touchdown and then get a couple touchdowns to Jefferson, and then I'm assuming they'll probably just run Madison the rest of the way, but it's the Vikings, so they might fucking lose to the Lions. Also, we got Chase Edmonds that's questionable. Looks like the Voyagers are going to start Jamison Crowder, actually, out in London instead of Edmonds. And the Smeagol's are also a little bit banged up. Cooper's banged up, but it looks like he's going to play. Zeke Elliott is a little banged up. It looks like he's going to play. But we'll see what happens in this big game here. Both guys 2-2, trying to get over 500. For matchup number 4, got the Columbia Dumpster Fire at 1-3, going up to Wisconsin to play the Bunny Bangers, who are even on the year. Again, Bunny Bangers hot and cold. Dumpster Fire taking a dive into that, well, dumpster, I guess. And very interesting matchup. A little bit of a slight rivalry here. If you guys follow the Chug chat, Chug rivalries. And this matchup looks like it could go, I mean, obviously it could go either way. But as of now, it looks like the Dumpster Fire should win. But Bunny Bangers, hot and cold. They could put up 150, could put up 70. Dumpster Fire have been this year. So I think if the Dumpster Fire can put up, say, 125, they should be able to pick up their win. But Bunny Bangers could put up 180 out of nowhere, so you never know. Rivalry game of the week. Y'all know what this is. We have the Long Island Boondogs, reigning champs at 2-2, flying on down to Trenton to play the Trolls, who are also 2-2. This is a long storied rivalry if you follow the chats. A lot of bad blood here, but interested to see this game. Really just because of the smack talk that's going to be involved, I think, in it. The Trolls have already got 37 on the board. They got 16.5 from their running back, 2, Henderson, and they got 21 out of Robert Woods, his wide receiver 2. So very solid numbers for his second place guys, and it still has him losing on Sleeper by 3 points projectedly. But Devontae Adams looks like he should have a giant game. Derrick Henry's got Jacksonville, so he may get 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring matchup down there in Trenton, and we'll see what happens. Watch the chat. Keep your eyes open for the chat on this one. On to the game of the week. We got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks taking a dive onto LA, trying to surf them waves, taking on the undefeated Ness. Sizzling on the year, 4-0, and it's looking like they should take their 5th win of the season. The Tiger Sharks took an early lead. They got 8.4 out of Higbee. He only had 2 catches, but he had a touchdown. So that's not bad from your tight end spot, but the Finesse have Kelsey and Mahomes stacked. So that is such a tough matchup to overcome. Nick Chubb and Robinson, that's tough, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Chubb. Cordero Patterson burned Rico last week, had over 30 points. Best running back and wide receiver in the league. And with Ridley out, it could be the Patterson show in London. Or it could be nothing. That's kind of how Patterson is. This is going to be a very, very interesting matchup here. I think it'll come down to the defense. The Tiger Sharks have a better defense, but that offense in LA is just insane. So we'll see what they can do. On to the predictions. Woo! Come on now. So last week, Matt went 3-3 with his picks, and we are 10-14 on the season. So I mean, I guess 50% is still better than nothing, but we're only at 42% on the year. Rico has next week's picks, and if you look in the top right here, I'm gonna start keeping track of everyone's records of their picks. Tebow's 3-3, Mandy's 1-5, E-Man 3-3, Matt 3-3. So no one has gotten over 50% on predictions, but this week, Nate had the picks, and he went crazy. Crazy with the picks. He's got upset Quailman over the Titans Elite. He's got it upset Winless Wise Guys over the Hot Heaters. He's got the Voyagers over the Smeagol's. He's got the Bunny Bangers, his own Bunny Bangers, over the Dumpster Fire. He's got the Room Dogs over the Trolls in the rivalry game of the week. And then another upset, he's got the Tiger Sharks taking down the Finesse at home. At home. This is a crazy prediction. Crazy. This is either going to be 0-6 or 6-0. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those weeks. And a lot of upsets here, a lot of rivalries this week. Didn't list them all. Don't think I need to. You guys know them. Predictions are crazy. Let's get into golf. Woo! Looking at golf. Big change. So Matt's still up ahead. We got a bogey last week. He's still 9 under. But the big surge of the week was E-Man. He shot a 4 under par to bring him within 1 stroke of Matt. Crazy. Matt had a 6-stroke lead last week. And now it's only 1. So the tables can turn very, very quickly. We got Matt first, 9 under, E-Man at 8 under, then P-Man at 4 under. Didn't do anything last week. Took the week off when it came to golf. Jerm at 3 under, got a double birdie there with his defensive lineman. Joe sitting at 1 under, which celebrate to Joe. I think this is his first time being under par in golf. He was over all last season, finished last. Joe is under par. Wow. Nate and Mandy sitting at even. Nate and Mandy sitting even. You got Hunter still sitting at 1 over par. Dan at 2 over. Rico at 3 over. Braden at 4 over. And Tebow bringing up the rear at 5 over. And with the vote basically saying keep the scoring the way it is, we're just going to keep the scoring the way it is. If you have a guy that you started and he gets 2 things, he gets 2 birdies. If you have a guy that you didn't start and he had 2 things, he gets 2 bogeys. I think it's just the easiest way to do it. There's no research involved, and you know, it's kind of like, I guess it's that double-edged sword, you know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, Rico may get those points right back this week with Cordero Patterson. He may. He has a very good shot at it. So we'll see. But those are your golf standings, and that's it for this week, guys. Sorry, I had to put Russ here. But good luck to everybody this week in week 5. It's been a crazy year so far. It's going to keep getting on crazier. Hunter, you need to stop trying to sell your quarterback that's not even on a team. He's not going to be on a team. You're just wasting a roster spot, and you're not going to sell him. You can't sell everybody everything, man. But good luck, guys, and I'll see you next week.